Hi there everyone, thanks to my new subscribers and to my old subscribers. So tonight I'm going to do what lies did he tell you? Pick a card. So this is about a direct connection that you've had in the past, and if you've been dating or you've had a conversation with this person, then I'm going to find out the dishonest aspects of that connection. So I'll just ask, what lies did he tell my channel viewer? Pick a card. What lies did he tell my channel viewer? Pick a card. Of course, if this reading resonates, please like, share, subscribe and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. My website is a PayPal service, so you can send me the funds with a message or you can email me. And my Fiverr account is a service facility. You need your Facebook details or your Google details to log into that facility. So I feel he's been lying about what he is and who he is generally, because the person you had in front of you, it could be an insinuation. He doesn't have to have said much. There's a few things here that he either wasn't very forthcoming about or he was dishonest about, and that's his power in life. He has a godlike complex, and it's a godlike complex based on an ego that he has developed from a type of power that he has acquired. But I feel he came across to you as somebody very casual. That's the impression I get. This is a person who goes through ups and downs because they're a big risk taker, but also somebody who is well traveled, who is very well versed in worldly affairs. He also wasn't honest about his past. I feel that he has an anger problem, and that didn't come across at all because I feel that you got the very innocent character. But I feel that your person could have had a military background that they're not quite forthcoming about. And that sounds like a strange thing to lie about, but I feel in respect of how they came across to you, it wasn't very overbearing at all. It's like you got a totally different impression to how this person really is. I really feel that this person is generally dishonest about having kids or having a kid in particular. They're not going to be forthcoming about that. They really are very stuck on keeping that aspect under wraps. So I feel this person subconsciously is somebody who has a rage about them, like the card indicates. It is more of a past thing, past kind of consideration. But I also feel that this person was dishonest about their level of control over people and how they execute that control. So you've got a very nice face in front of you, a very pleasant person, somebody who seemed very casual, somebody who seemed very transient, somebody who most likely conversed with you a lot and was very friendly. somebody who came across as very knowledgeable, but I don't think they were very expressive about who they were or what they were. They gave you a very superficial perspective, because this is a person that is away from you, that you know to be a flight away from you. That's the impression I get. And it tells me very clearly here that this is a person who could possibly have like something like their own plane, or connections with people who have their own chartered plane, something like that. I mean, this is a person that doesn't travel with others. They travel independently. So that tells me that they have flexibility in terms of their wealth, in terms of their access to wealth, in terms of the potential in their life. I really get the impression that in some part of the world, this person is seen as a central power. So you can look at it on scale. They could be the lead, they could run their business, and it could be a very successful business. They could be they could have a life which requires them to undertake a leadership role, and they're very egotistical about how they run their business, how they run their life. They were also dishonest about having somebody that they're in love with, and potentially having that person waiting in the wings. So it tells me very clearly that they've had somebody that they've been in love with, and they want to renew that love with this person, but they haven't been forthcoming about that. And they're kind of at this person's mercy as well. So I feel that even though in a lot of respects this relationship has almost totally run its course, your person's not accepting the end of that relationship and is still working on getting this person back. So it tells me that this person doesn't like to be accosted about their position in life. So they don't want to talk to somebody openly about who or what they are, because it means compromising their situation in a sense. Like, it's like they feel people want them for a particular purpose. Like, people want them for their money, people want them for their power, people want to, or particularly women, not so much people, to lean on them. They don't like that. They want to have freedom. That's what it says very clearly. So that's why they lied about those aspects. But I feel the most threatening aspect of this depiction is that your person isn't as genteel as they make out. They're very aggressive in life. And that's how they get what they want. And that's how they maintain power. So it tells me they're very much the leader of their group. And you just probably met this person when they were in a kind of a timeout for them. It kind of gives me the impression that this person wanted to have a sense of freedom, because everybody wants something from them. Everybody wants a piece of your person, and they felt that getting that sense of freedom and talking to a person or a lady on a very real basis, and a real basis meaning from a basic perspective where they probably made out they didn't have as much as they had, or they made out that they were weaker than what they are, gave them some type of sense of self-satisfaction. But this is person that runs a show in some respects, is the big cat. And I feel that you didn't get that impression at all. So I really feel that if you ever see this person again, I mean, this person's really just very calculating, and it shows that they're calculating because of how they can switch their characters on and off. And it really is just a way of this person trying to fit in. And I feel that that would be okay, but for the fact that you have somebody who can be pushy, who can be controlling, and that's not the impression you got. So I still get the impression that this person thinks about you as somebody they're in love with, somebody who showed genuine love towards them, but also very much somebody who's a baby. They look upon you as a baby, somebody who needs a lot of nurturing by them in particular. And the reason they feel that you need that nurturing is because they're so powerful in terms of that's a feeling within themselves. So there must be like a difference in your lifestyles, a vast difference, where you've either got somebody who's in a very ego-driven environment and you're in a very casual environment as a general rule, as you know, in terms of just your day-to-day activities. The other thing is that this person could holds quite a high position, and they weren't forthcoming about that, and so they look upon you as, you know, the subordinate. They don't look upon you as somebody who's equal to them. The other thing they were kind of dishonest about is their feelings. They did have very honest, genuine, devotional and love feelings for you, and they were too frozen over, their head was in the clouds, and there's this boiling persona in them. They don't like to be ruled by women. They don't like to be told what to do. They don't really like to have a conversation with somebody they deem to be common or below them. And you are both. And that's not an insult. It's just a mindset, a difference in the mindset. This person's full of themselves, extremely egotistical, has most likely been given everything in life, has most likely risen up through a very in a very presumptuous type of environment, where they just expected things. They expected positions, they expected wealth, they expected abundance, prosperity. And they got what they wanted all of the time, and they were in an environment which built up that ego every day. So it's like, and you're different. You were raised in a loving environment, a caring environment, and you honestly thought you were out to rescue this person in some respect, in the sense that you were there to show them love, you were there to show them friendship, but on the proviso that they were who they made out they were. But this is quite difficult, because you've got to realize that this person looks for stunning, beauty in their mate, stunning, physical beauty. They're they take on board all of the attributes of somebody who's spoilt, somebody has been raised with a silver spoon in their mouth. So they're like, I can only have a pretty chick on my arm. I can only, I like this person, but I can only have this. I can only have that. I can only see this type of person, that type of person. Very presumptuous. So it's, you got the impression of the person that was lovely, but this alter ego isn't so lovely all the time, is quite a pig. And they will continue to be that way, perhaps. I feel they're going to try to communicate on those terms again, where they were the casual person, the boyish man, the damsel in distress type of bloke, because there was a femininity to the person that you spoke to, not in the respect that you felt that you could speak to your person or him on equal terms as a female. But this person is very masculine, very ego-driven, very commanding, can explode if they don't get their own way. So they do look upon you as a baby, and that's why. This person's going to try to communicate on the same terms as you first connected. They're going to try to get you to rescue their emotions again, because there's going to be a renewal. But you have to keep in mind that this person's in love with someone out there that they can't stabilize. And I feel that this person can really have anyone when they show their true colours. And their true colours is maybe, showing their wealth, showing their achievement openly, or displaying that amongst the peerage. So it's going, I feel they want to return to you, who may be different to them in a lot of different respects, because they understand that you are a genuinely beautiful person. They're intrigued. They obviously put themselves out there in a lower capacity in order to get something back, for whatever reason that may have been, maybe a personal experiment. You have to keep that in mind. So I feel that when this person returns to you, you have to really question their behaviour, their attitude, their background, and ask where they've been. Like, I don't feel they'll ever be totally honest with you about their position in life. So that's going to be difficult, but they will try to return to you. They will try to get you to hold them again, hold their spirit, comfort them. But you've got to realize that in doing that, they still got this ego. They're still going to look upon you as somebody who is lower, somebody who is a baby to them, somebody who has less knowledge, somebody who has less power, somebody who is in a basic position to what they are. So you may not be able to see through this lie of theirs or this dishonesty of theirs ever, because they are clever, they are intelligent, but I feel that you can detect particular aspects of that dishonesty. And it may not be such a bad thing that you have somebody who has who presumes a type of power out there in the world and you don't know about it. But it's like, I mean, you need to know who it is you have in front of you. And that's a pretty big thing to just neglect to tell you. Or nobody has to tell anybody anything, I guess, on a private level, but it's more in terms of, well, they're not exactly being open with you. And that's a difficult concept, or a difficult situation to take on board if you're going to renew something with this person and they're going to keep on playing a charade with you. Particularly given that your person can explode. Your person can get very aggressive and can become very controlling. And if they're able to maintain this facade where they're a little bit more innocent than what they really are, and then quite suddenly try to control the situation, then I don't think you'll be happy with that, because they're coming across as somebody who's quite casual and somebody who's quite friendly, not somebody who wants to play control games. And this is a person that does presume that they have full control over the women they see. It's just part and parcel of whatever they've been indoctrinated into. So I feel that they're definitely on their way back, but you have to be careful of the third party situation here, always, because you're not their type out there in the world. You're something of a curiosity, something cute, something they don't quite get, but something, you're someone, and I've said something several times, so you could be something and not someone. So you're definitely a curiosity to this person, you know, and saying something all the time isn't right to me, means that you're, you know, I just get this image in my head of someone picking up a magnifying glass and looking at their specimen. That's what this person does. They're interested in another side of life. But are they interested in you? I'm not sure. Because the types of women they have look like this, to be quite honest with you. That's who they were willing to show off. They're not willing to show off their funny little creature that they found along the way. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so that was deck 1. If this reading resonated, please like, share, subscribe and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. My website is a PayPal service, so you can send me the funds with a message or you can email me. My PayPal service is a facility called, not my PayPal service, my Fiverr service is a facility. So you need your Google details or your Facebook details to log into that facility. See you next time. Hi there everyone, this is deck 2. I'm doing What Lies Did He Tell You? Pick a card. So just ask, what lies did he tell my channel viewer? What lies did he tell my channel viewer? What lies did he tell my channel viewer? So I feel that he was dishonest about his education. Actually, I feel this person gave up education, and I also feel they weren't very forthcoming about their situation in terms of wealth. So they made out. They didn't, obviously probably didn't go into it, but they weren't really very honest about the fact that they did have money behind them, but they were making out they didn't have much. So there's they also were dishonest about being a very manipulative person, and also they were dishonest about being an underconfident person. So this is somebody who is very manipulative, very deceptive, is highly intelligent, but has a focus on being manipulative, being too timing almost. They were also dishonest about the fact that that they had somebody on the side. I feel somebody very sexy, and somebody they deemed to be irresistible, but somebody that, you know, doesn't really commit to them. This is, you know, a funny character who turns over a certain type of woman, can be extremely arrogant, deceptive, egotistical, but is very focused on those elements. They made out in some respect that they were embattled, but I feel that's just part and parcel of the trickery they try to set up. So it's a little bit of a play on a person, to be quite honest with you. And the reason this person, you know, made out they were probably very intelligent and well educated, and did give up that dream, was because they're not very dedicated. They want to cut corners. It's something that's a focus of theirs. It's probably the thing, they have a certain type of intelligence which is very sharp, and it enables them to kind of be manipulative and to work around the women. But it tells me very clearly here that they, you know, they gave up the dream, they gave up the focus in terms of like a very honest existence, because they're a little bit lazy. They're very envious of people with money, and they don't always have money, and they just try to obtain that money any way they can. So I get the impression here that you've got somebody who's who can be very egotistical, who can be very aggressive, who in the past probably had some chance of being a better person, but I feel that once they gave up their educational dream or the college dream, they kind of gave up on themselves, because it just seems to me that they were really good at a particular thing, but they've always had this kind of an underhanded approach to people. And so everything's very cheap in their world. You know, their women are cheap. The dedication they apply to situations is cheap. They're actually two sides of the same coin. So I feel you've got a Gemini here, or someone with Gemini in their chart. So they're kind of, they could even have a twin. But I feel that you basically have somebody who's always trying to work their way around people. But very aggressively. But I feel that you didn't get that impression. I feel you got the cool guy, somebody who was embattled or you felt was embattled, somebody who made some type of sacrifice. I see a person potentially who was in the military, and something about their past led them to just give up on a legitimate lifestyle. Because it's like they use whatever past, whether it's a military or whether it's educational, they talk about it quite a bit. And they use that to kind of legitimize themselves. But it's really just a method of, it's just a deception. So it's not exactly a lie, but it is a deception. Because I feel they were involved in those two particular life paths, potentially. But then something happened. They had to give it up. And I feel it had a lot to do with their mischievousness. So they're dropouts, essentially. Or they've been kicked out of the legitimate path. So they've since turned to maybe, becoming less honest. It's like an honest, this person's like an honest thief. That's the impression I get. So they will steal your heart, but they'll show a type of love towards you, but it's not very, it's based on mischievousness. And they have a really jealous streak, a terribly jealous streak, and they can be terribly annoying, terribly bothersome, and I feel that they were probably sports people at some point, but they've suffered injury. And so you've got a couple of elements here where they've been good sports people, they've suffered injury, they've been at college and they did something, or they've been in the military or in college and they've had to drop out, either because they were injured or because they've had some type of something's gone on. So I feel that you have somebody who's very obstructionist in front of you, but also mischievous, and who lies almost on a constant basis. So I feel that you have to be wary, because the women that your person is after look like this, but they're cheaper variety of that person. And the reason they go after that person is because they're still living in their ego. They're still egomaniacs, but they don't have anything behind them to support that notion of themselves. It's just a deception or a lie that they believe and that they tell others. So I feel that you have to kind of be careful of this energy, because I can see that for the most part they're trying to make out they're quite upright in character, but they're not really. They probably make out that they are very intelligent, very cool, kind of very happy in life, but really they've just been hurt in life, and they have had a lot of potential in the past, but they couldn't meet that potential. So something's gone awry since then, and it's funneled down even into their personal relationships, where they're not being exactly very truthful, and you know, that aggressiveness or aggressive mischievousness with which they act has become a really bad habit. So I feel that basically you need to move away from this energy, and I feel that you separated from this energy in the past, and I feel that was for the best. They can stand up for themselves, but it's like very aggressive type of action they take. It's not pleasant. And I feel they can reign over the women they're with, but they just become a pest in the end. So all of that you'd have to consider if you're really head over heels in love with this guy. You'll have to kind of think about what they said and how well you know this person, because I get the impression like you didn't really know them all that well. You separated quickly, and there needed to be more understanding applied to this energy. Because I feel if you knew them a little bit longer, you'd understand all this about them. It would be very obvious to you. But I feel that you only saw one aspect of them, not several. And it's a bit of a problem that you didn't see this other side, because it's a very strong side. It's not something which is like a minor trait. It's a significant trait. It's something that basically they live their life based on their mischievousness, and it's even a very focused intention in them. The reason it's so focused is because they gave up in the past, because something gave up on them, so they gave up basically on a legitimate lifestyle. That's especially in respect of women. So they will make out that they're in love with a lot of different women, but or they have crushes, but they don't really. They just seem to become, and even if they were like with you or you thought you could get with this person for a while, they'd start to cheat. And if they didn't cheat, they'd be very scary pests. So I feel they're like annoying in some respect if you know them after a while. And to me that means they do things that are really crazy, and you think better of this energy. But they do it on purpose because they resist love. They don't embrace love. This is an energy that resists love. So I feel that you have to maybe show caution. I don't think they'll be back. I think the separation between you is pretty permanent, pretty strong. but not a character I'd encourage you to embrace either. Okay, so that was deck 2. If this reading resonated, please like, share, subscribe and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. My website is a PayPal service, so you can send me the funds with a message or you can email me. My Fiverr account is a service facility and you need your Facebook details or your Google details to log into that facility. See you next time.